so hard living with the things you do to me.
Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. I've got Bev Flaxington on, and she calls herself the Human Behavior Coach. Her website, The Collaborative, and by the way, that's the THE-collaborative.com. Bev, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Really happy to be here today.
Glad to have you on. Tell us a little bit about your story and what got you into this whole area of trying to help people when it comes to their behavior.
Well, I did spend and have spent all of my career in the corporate arena. I've had C-level jobs, managed lots of people. I've been a consultant now for many years. But along the way, I got very interested in hypnosis. I learned it myself and then became a certified hypnotherapist and just started to see some very interesting overlap between the things I was dealing with people who were simply trying to lose weight or have more confidence and the issues that were coming up with the people in the corporate arena that I was dealing with. And I started to think, my goodness, this is all wrapped up in this whole human behavior thing and how we think about things, decisions we make. So I've managed over time to integrate the two lines and found it very useful to help my corporate clients and business people be more successful.
Yeah, and it's so funny because, you know, anything that's been the subject of TV and particularly of comedy, people are somewhat dismissive of. But there's so many success stories that relate to hypnotism, it's not even funny.
Well, and what I have learned, though, is over time, I don't talk about it. I just take a lot of the concepts that I've learned and a lot of the things that we use very successfully, and I use them with the people that I deal with in business. You know, the other piece is how much unhappiness with your job, difficulty with dealing with coworkers, I hate my boss. These things have an emotional and a physical impact on us. So even if we don't admit the fact that they're affecting us in that way, they certainly are. So we've got to look at that mind connection.
Yeah. And so tell me about some of the type of CEOs and business companies that you work with.
Oh, goodness. Well, we work with everybody from the small, independent financial advisor, CPA in their own practice, on up to some of the largest financial services firms in the world. Our specific area of focus is the investment business, financial services. Many times we'll get referred out from those clients, and we may work with an energy company or a healthcare company. But we have an interesting perspective because we're dealing with, sometimes it's the individual running their own business, but sometimes it's people that are stuck in a bureaucracy of, 40,000 people trying to figure out how to move forward.
Yeah. By the way, you can also, and it may be better to look up the Human Behavior Coach, the humanbehaviorcoach.com. And so companies of all sizes, and ranging from mom and pops up to, it sounds like even Fortune 500 type companies.
Oh, yes. So many of our companies who don't allow us to use their names, but they are quite recognizable, some of the largest companies in the world. And, of course, the interesting thing they all have in common is they've got the people issues that they're dealing with. The complexity might change, but the people issues stay the same.
Yeah, absolutely. So typically when a company comes to you looking for help for their key employees, what's usually going on?
Most of the time, they're not getting to the goals that they had set. So somebody has frustration that either they've set a revenue goal, a profitability goal, they need to have change management happen, and something is stuck. And they'll oftentimes, the senior folks especially, will blame it on the staff. They'll say, for example, we need new people, we need to move these people out and get more people in. But as we all know, it's not always the people. There's usually something else that's happening in the environment, or it could be the people and their viewpoint or how enthused they are. But usually what happens is they're stuck, they feel like they should be further ahead, they want to become more successful, and so they want to look at ways to do that, and we help them understand what some of those obstacles might be.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, let's blame the people. And, of course, when you start laying off people, you talk about there's very few things more demoralizing than to be the leftovers of a slaughter when they try to clean out staff.
Well, and I think that there's many times where we all have our certain behavioral style and the thing that is our core competencies, right? And so there are cases certainly where you're a mismatch. You're in a role, it's not really what you do well, it's not what you love, and perhaps another role would be better for you. That's absolutely the case sometimes. And you can have people who are disgruntled, they've got a bad attitude. We do have these people pieces, but I think unfortunately off with their heads and let's just, get rid of the whole lot and start over causes more problems than it solves. But for whatever reason, it certainly does come up a lot as a solution.
Yeah, regardless of how entertaining that is to a sadistic boss, it may not actually solve any of your company's problems. Your book, Shift, the 5 most powerful moves you can make to get where you want to go, which, by the way, you can learn more about that at the humanbehaviorcoach.com. Again, make sure you put in thehumanbehaviorcoach.com. Tell us about those 5 powerful moves that people can make.
This grew out of work that I've done with individuals, teams, and businesses, and interestingly enough, it was my largest client who asked me to create this model and write this book because of the success they'd had. The 5 steps, first of all, SHIFT is an acronym. The first one is S, specify the desired outcome. Be clear about what success looks like to you. Where are you trying to go and why? We often don't ask ourselves the why question. H, we call highlight the obstacles and categorize them. What can you control? What can you influence? And get rid of the focus on the things that you can't control. The I is, we call this identify the human factor, and this is the interesting one because this is about behavioral style and communication and who are the people on your team and how do they work together. F is find your alternatives. Until you know what you're trying to get to, what your obstacles are and your human factor, you really can't effectively brainstorm. But once you know them, what's your criteria for decision making? What choices do you have? And then I love T. T is take disciplined action. And that means have a plan. Who's doing it? When are they doing it? How are they doing it? So that it's not just we sit in an off-site, we have some great discussions, but nothing ever gets done. What are you going to commit to doing? And how are you going to get it done?
All right. Interesting topic. Again, Beverly Flaxington, she is the author of the book Shift. And also you can learn more about her at the humanbehaviorcoach.com. That's the humanbehaviorcoach.com. And it looks like from just glancing at your website, your services, obviously on the very basic level, include a book, which is a very affordable way of getting help, to individual coaching, it appears group coaching, as well as seminars. Kind of give us an overview of what you do for people.
Yeah, so I do a lot of speaking on this topic to companies and to groups at large. We do a lot of training. We don't believe really in fully packaged training. We try to understand what folks are dealing with to give them training that's going to work for their group. We do a lot of one-to-one coaching and a lot of working with teams that are having difficulty getting along, teams that need to get better on track together, so we'll facilitate that. And then we do behavioral profiling, so we'll have people run a DISC or a values profile and go over it with them so they can have a bit of a more objective view on where their strengths might be, what they might like to do, and if they're feeling ill fit in their job, why that might be and what choices they might have to move forward. It's all in the interest of how do you give people more information, more personal power so they can move themselves forward.
All right, Beverly Flaxington, she's a human behavior coach. You can learn more about her at the thehumanbehaviorcoach.com. Learn more about her book, Shift, the 5 most powerful moves you can make to get where you want to go. I'm Kevin Price. Thanks for being with us, Bev.
Kevin, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
You bet. I'm Kevin Price. You're listening to The Price of Business. Make sure you check us out online, priceofbusiness.com. Great audio, video, articles, and more. New article series on customer appreciation written by me, in fact. Check it out over there at priceofbusiness.com.